You ever get to the end of the day, look back, and it just feels like you were running on a treadmill? You were busy, you were definitely stressed, but you didn't actually go anywhere. It's this feeling of being stuck in a loop. And if that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. Okay, so let's dive into how we can break that cycle for good.
And isn't this the question we all ask ourselves? You wake up with a solid plan, you've got real ambition for the day, and then boom, it's 10 p.m., you're just sitting there wondering, where did all those hours even go? It feels like your most valuable resource is just vanishing into thin air. Now, this isn't a sign that you failed. It's just a sign that your current system, well, it might not be working for you.
And this right here is probably the biggest trap we all fall into, the lie of someday. You know how it goes. Someday I'll get in shape, or someday I'll finally start that project. We're always waiting for this lightning bolt of motivation to strike, some huge dramatic event that's going to magically flip a switch and change everything. But let's be honest, that day never really comes, does it?
So, this really shows the huge difference between our fantasy and the truth. On one hand, we have the illusion, this idea of an overnight miracle. But the reality? Well, it's way less glamorous, but it is infinitely more powerful. It's all about those small, daily actions. It's about building momentum piece by piece instead of just waiting for it to show up. And most importantly, it's about ruthless consistency, especially on the days you really don't feel like it.
So, look, if you want to stop feeling like you're wasting your life, you have to stop waiting for an event and start building a system, a foundation, right? Something that supports the person you actually want to become. Today, we're going to break down that exact system, the foundation framework, which is built on three really core pillars.
All right, let's start with the first and most foundational pillar, directing your mind. See, before you can change your actions, you have to change the story you tell yourself inside your own head. Every single thing you do or don't do, it all starts with a thought, a belief about who you are. Your life really is a story, and the very first step is realizing you're the one holding the pen. This quote just nails it perfectly. If you're constantly telling yourself, oh, I'm lazy, or I always procrastinate, guess what? Your brain actively looks for evidence to make that story true. But what if you start telling yourself, I'm a disciplined person, or I am focused? Well, slowly but surely, your actions will start to line up with that new identity. And this isn't just some motivational fluff. This is straight up neuroscience. It's a process called neuroplasticity. Every single time you act with intention, every time you choose the productive action over the easy one, you are physically building new connections in your brain. You're literally installing a new operating system in your mind, one that runs on momentum, not on your mood. Okay, now we move on to pillar 2. So if directing your mind is all about changing your internal software, well, designing your day is about building the external environment to support that new program. Most of us, we wake up and we immediately start reacting to notifications, to emails, to whatever the world throws at us. This pillar is all about shifting from that reactive state to a directive one. And here's a really simple but powerful way to do it. First, you wake with purpose. The key rule here, mind before media. No phone first thing. Set your own intentions before you let all the world's noise rush into your brain. Second, plan your top 3 priorities for the day. That's it, just 3. Third, you execute those priorities with deep, focused attention. And finally, you perform a shutdown ritual. Close the laptop, review what you got done, and signal to your brain that the workday is officially over. This is how you prevent burnout and stay in control. And now for the engine that powers this entire framework, building tiny habits. This right here is where the real magic happens. Your mindset and your daily design, that's the architecture, but tiny habits, those are the bricks you lay day after day to build your new life. These are the physical actions that actually do that rewiring, that neuroplasticity we were just talking about. This whole idea is captured so perfectly by the Japanese concept of Kaizen. It's this philosophy of making small, incremental improvements every single day. So instead of trying to overhaul your entire life in 1 week, which, let's face it, almost always fails, you just focus on one tiny improvement. It's an approach that kind of slips right past that mental friction that usually kills our big goal. And the power of this is just incredible. I mean, improving by just 1% each day, it doesn't really sound like much, does it? But thanks to the power of compounding, that tiny daily effort means you'll be over 37 times better by the end of the year. Think about that. This is literally compounding interest for your brain. Small habits have a massive impact. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, you could use the 2-minute rule to crush procrastination, or make your bed to get your first little win of the day. Read just 10 pages a day. You'll get through about 15 books a year doing that. Plan your day the night before so you wake up with clarity instead of chaos. None of these are life-shattering on their own, but they build the foundation for everything else. So how does this all come together? Well, you start by directing your mind by rewriting your story. Then you support that new story by designing your day for intention, not reaction. And finally, you make it all real by executing these tiny, consistent habits, the very habits that rewire your brain and prove to yourself day after day who you are actually becoming. And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway from all of this. Your habits aren't just things you do. They are votes you cast for the type of person you want to become. Every tiny action is another piece of evidence that builds your new identity. You don't just do discipline, you become a disciplined person. Real change isn't just about what you accomplish, it's about who you become. So I'll leave you with this one question. Forget about rebuilding your entire life overnight. What is the one tiny, almost laughably small action you can take today to cast a vote for your future self? Maybe it's just putting your running shoes by the door. Maybe it's reading one single page of a book. Whatever it is, that's where you start. Not someday. Today.